Hello, I'm Dan Kinjorski. I'm host of Past, Present, and Perspective. And one of the other hosts is
Derek.
Derek. Derek, good to see you again. So, what we want to talk about, Derek, is this really thing that's been bugging me for a long time. Not a long time, but at least for a week. And it's the impasse that Congress has, the inability to work together, to work with personalities, the inability to sit down and come up with a solution to the budget. I mean, it really makes, as a taxpayer and business owner, it really upsets me
Yeah.
that two grown adults, okay, a Republican and a Democrat, or maybe three grown adults, an independent, cannot sit together and come up with a solution.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's your perspective on it?
I don't know. There's some people saying that the Democrats are saying that they want to give healthcare to everybody,
right.
and that's the reason why they're not putting in the Obamacare mandates or whatever.
Right.
And the right is saying that no, the left just wants to give healthcare to all the illegal aliens.
Right.
So it's like two. I mean, I always like to say it's probably somewhere in the middle.
Right. Yeah. Somewhere in the middle, we find the truth, right? Yeah. But in my opinion, as I take a look at everything and as I view or make observations, what I see is a personality issue. Certain people don't like the personality that President Trump has.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's just admit it. I mean, he's a tough guy, right?
Yeah.
He's a tough business guy. But my point is, you and I were in the military. We have learned to work with personalities, right?
Oh yes.
What is that? Explain that, man.
Well, like, enlisted, you get a commander that not like the last commander, and he wants to run things a little bit differently,
Right.
and the whole company's not used to that.
Right.
Like,
Right.
we're used to something else, and there's a lot of butting heads that happened, and
Right.
then some people get in trouble, some people don't,
Right.
and usually 9 times out of 10, the commander will get his way, and
Right.
everybody else has changed. So
Right. Right. Yeah. So it's a personality. We have to learn to work with them, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening, in my opinion. We see people who don't like this particular personality, so they're going to stop whatever they can. They're going to try to cause a ruckus and not take the blame for it.
Yeah.
But, well, I think it's everyone's fault because they're grown adults up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I really thought of? For the most part, they're educated lawyers. For the most part, not all of them have a really deep education.
Yeah.
But the point is, they're lawyers, and they don't know how to sit across from each other, making a decision to benefit the American people.
It's because politics and egos play a big part in it.
Yeah.
They want to, as a politician, they want to increase, I guess, their status. They want to get another rung higher on the ladder.
Right. So let me ask you something from your perspective. When you were serving in the military, what leader did you look up the most to? What kind of leader did you look up the most to? What did they do, right or wrong? I mean, what was it about a good leader, and what characteristics are you looking for?
Someone who was leading from the front.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've taught my sons that really early. I'm like, hey, there's a difference between someone who's being a boss and a leader. A boss is just going to tell you what to do. The leader is going to show you how you need to do it,
Right.
and be there with you as you're doing it.
Right.
And then once you've got it, then they leave it up to you. But
Right. Yeah. Well, but they were willing. Okay. But what other characteristics were they willing to compromise? Were they willing to not only lead right?
Yeah.
Not be the boss so much, but lead. But were they also willing to compromise some when it comes down to it? Were they also able to hear another voice?
Yeah.
You know, was that something you look forward to, or in a leader?
Yeah.
Is that something?
Yeah. That's something that definitely is a quality, because my time in the Army, I've had commanders that did listen to the lower Joes, you know,
Right.
take into consideration. I mean, part of that I was aviation,
Mhm.
so always flying with, you know, the platoon leader or the commander, you know.
Right.
There's more of a like a one-on-one
Mhm.
with the lower enlisted.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's one of the reasons why a lot of aviation commanders will take more consideration into what their troops have to say.
Right.
That's all I know. That's all my experiences. So
Right. Well, I wish I can get some perspective from a younger
yeah.
generation, but he doesn't happen to be here.
I have had a commander that would not take like any, did not want to even like
Hear anything?
yeah, and that was my last commander before I went to the 160th.
Oh, wow.
In the regular Army. And
Right.
yeah, the what is it?
Did he survive?
It was a she. It
Oh,
was a
she. Yeah.
I think she did. I'm not sure,
Right.
but yeah, the I guess what was that called? The atmosphere of the company, like
Oh, yeah.
the morale.
The morale of the
The
company.
morale of the company was just in the gutter. Like nobody wanted to really do much. So
Right. So, you know, for me, I think that speaks a lot because what's happening, thank you for bringing up the morale. What's happening is I'm wondering the morale of the United States. I mean, they're watching this played out on TV.
yeah,
You know, the two arguing, the two, and you know, the politicians arguing back and forth and blaming each other. I think, you know, I think they need to just realize that you're in position, Mr. Politician or Miss Politician. You're in position because you were elected to work for the people, not for your own self-interest or the interest of corporations. You know, what's interesting too in fiscal year, I did some history in fiscal year 2001. That was the most recent period of time where we had a balanced budget in the United States government. And that was under President Bill Clinton. And previously, before that, it was 1969. So from 1998 to 2001, President Bill Clinton was the only, there was the only time in the last 50 years the U.S. had a balanced budget, at least from 1969 till present. You know, let's just talk about that for a second. So we're talking about 2001 when there was the last budget, last balanced budget. What do you think kind of shredded that budget?
9/11 and
Yep.
the Patriot Act.
Yep. 9/11, the Patriot Act, everything that.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, the whole war. You know,
Yeah.
that was 9/11. Well, actually, 9/11. That was in. Help me.
2001.
Yeah, that was 2001. So in 2003 is when we went to war.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, it's the Iraqi and Afghanistan war fronts that really busted the budget.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And going back before that, the Gulf War, you know, in 1990. But there's nothing in there that talked about the Gulf War. But I will mention something with President Reagan in just a minute. But what really breaks the budget really is the Gulf War, 9/11. You know, the Patriot Act and all that really busted the budget.
Yeah.
And because of wars. You know, when apparently the U.S. was last debt free. When I looked at the budget and looked at the finances in the United States government, take a guess. What century were we last debt free as a nation.
Before 1913?
Oh, yeah, way before then. 1835, under President Andrew Jackson, he was the only president to pay off the debt.
That's because he didn't want the central bank.
He didn't want the central bank.
No, he's the one that, you know, stopped the central bank from taking hold. And then in 1913, central bank came into fruition with the Federal Reserve Act.
Ah, right. Hey, speaking of the Federal Reserve, thinking about, speaking of monies and so forth, what is your opinion on should we have a gold standard, or should we have kept the gold standard?
I think we should have kept the gold standard.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's reasons why they say we went off of it. I think, what was it, Nixon?
I believe so, somewhere in that time frame. Yeah. You're probably more knowledgeable historically, just listening to you before we even started this. And that was great, man.
Yeah. So Nixon, I mean, them going off the gold standard, they went off the gold standard and they went on the petrodollar. So because we kind of backed Saudi Arabia and the Middle East and OPEC, we're like, hey, we'll protect you guys. You guys give us the oil. I think they had no reason to go back on the gold standard because they already had the oil with OPEC.
You know, some people think we should go back to the gold standard.
Yeah.
You know,
it would keep inflation in somewhat check. I mean, right now it's just printable money right now.
Yeah.
If they need money, they just print it.
Right.
Or just add some zeros.
Right. And then this debt, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, every day you can go to some news channels, you know, and watch our debt grow by the second. You know, it's really sad that our politicians really aren't. It doesn't seem like that they're there for the American people. They're there for themselves. You know, now I don't know how true this is. I've heard it. I don't know how true it is. But I've heard that, you know, when politician finally gets into the Senate or into Congress as a representative, whatever, all of a sudden they go from low income to higher income.
They do. It's all about the whatever committees they get on, and the things that they hear throughout their time on the floor. The thing is, like, when it comes to insider trading, like if you are an insider, meaning if you are in the financial business, and you get a tip from somebody else, that's it, you're an insider. Right. So if you just so have to be a congressman from Tennessee, then you overhear something on a subcommittee about this company is going to go public with this, and they're probably going to make some good money. Right. And then you go, huh? And you go buy some stock. Right. And then they go public. You just made some money. Right. Yeah. It's not technically insider trading, but it's information that the general public did not know. Right. Or could not know because you were in a closed session. So yeah, it should be illegal. Right. There's people that they follow Nancy Pelosi's stock trading. There's an app for it. You can follow her trades. Oh, really? Yeah. And if you buy and sell what she does, you're gonna make money. Oh, really? Yep. I don't know, man. I mean, do you follow it? No, I don't follow it. I don't have much stock. I have some crypto. I got some stock, you know, like Tesla and stuff like that, but not a lot. Right. I purely go with mutual funds for the most part. That's at my age. I don't know. That's where I'm at anyway. I'm not willing to take any major risk. Obviously, I'm in a major risk right now. You know, podcasting, media group, counseling, that sort of thing. Take a guess when the first modern shutdown was. First modern? The first modern shutdown, government shutdown. In the 70s? I don't know. Pretty close, 1981 under President Reagan. Okay. Yeah. According to my limited research, you know, it was in 1981 under President Reagan. Okay. That's interesting. You would have never thought of that, you know. So I encourage you, if you hear this, do your own research, you know. Well, that could be like another political thing where it's a Democrat like reaction to a landslide victory by a Republican
Right.
coming into office, which was what? Wait, was it his first was a landslide or his second was a landslide?
I'm not sure. I can't even remember.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I was just born, so
Were you really?
yeah, I was born in 1980. So
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I was in 1980. I was just becoming a high schooler. Yeah. I graduated in 85. So yeah. But anyway, this is all very interesting to me. Learning about the shutdown, learning about uh, continuing resolutions.
yeah,
That just we can't. I mean, we can't operate. We can't keep doing that.
no,
It doesn't make much sense. And they're not doing their jobs. They're not sitting down talking to each other, compromising with one another, and getting the work done. So on another podcast, what I did is, you know how sometimes we should be hired based on our work, on our merits,
yeah,
right? Hey, we can control that as voters.
oh yeah,
We can fire them if they're not doing their job. So I encourage you, go out and vote and fire the congressmen, fire the senators that are not doing their job, that are not standing up for you.
but here the problem with that is when
Right.
people go to vote,
Uh-huh.
a lot of people they vote down party lines,
Mm-hmm.
and then they go with the not everybody, but like the normies, the people that just go to oh let's do it.
Yeah.
They'll either vote at the person who's top. I don't know. I don't know if it's alphabetical order or if it's like incumbent first,
Right.
and then it goes down.
Right.
Um,
And they just
yeah,
they just vote down the line. You know, they I have some good friends who suggest that get to know those who are
yeah,
get to know what they believe, what they're if they have a voting history as as sitting senator or congressman, or House representative, whatever. Get to know how they voted in the past. It takes some research, takes some effort, but the problem is we don't want to take the time to do it.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of the things we do. So the financial world, in the sense of the United States, it's very interesting. You made mention earlier, and I don't really want to go into it too deeply, but weren't you talking about? I know you mentioned slavery. In terms of there was a certain boat that had to be created so we can travel over the oceans.
Oh, the caravel.
The caravel, right? And then there was also something how it was related to monies, or how it was related to world income or world economy or something.
World trade. I
World
mean, with
trade.
the caravel, that's when the first corporation, the Dutch corporation, what is it, Dutch East Company? I mean, they were the superpower back in the day.
Right.
So,
Wow. Yeah. There you have a lot to say, man, and I hope we can share some of that in terms of your thoughts on history, because I was just sitting listening to you earlier before the podcast started, and we were talking about that history that, and I mean, do you like reading history, or?
I love history. History is my favorite
I
subject.
think we talked about
Yeah.
that before, yeah.
I love like when my boys come home from school and they're learning something in history. Like, ooh, what you learn?
Yeah.
We go through it.
Right.
But one big thing is, I guess that I'm kind of like a sponge. When I hear something, I can remember it easier.
Right.
And so my wife, to go to bed, she wants to watch something boring.
Right.
So what do? Ken Burns.
Ken Burns?
Yeah, documentary
Yeah.
film.
Oh.
Yeah. Like he makes in-depth, detailed, long-form documentaries, like his Civil War documentary.
Uh-huh. Wow.
That's good stuff.
Okay.
It's like 2 hours each episode, and it's great. So I just watched that. She falls asleep, and
Maybe I ought to try that out. Just hey, I don't get a chance to watch a whole lot of TV. I'm so busy. So
when a lot of things that I know now, I guess, after my accident, I was in like this limbo area in the Army where I couldn't really do my job, but they couldn't kick me out yet or retire me. So I just read books.
oh really?
I was on a lot of pain meds, but I just soaked up books.
Really?
Yeah.
But you read probably a lot of nonfiction.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
read
the key.
I read a little bit of fiction because it was interesting. It was Zach Resichin. It's crazy.
Yeah,
But I read a lot of Thomas Sowell.
yeah.
He's like one of my favorite authors.
Wow.
Him and Graham Hancock. So
What did they write about?
Thomas Sowell, he's an economist, and he also writes a lot about racial and social issues.
Ah,
Yeah. One of his best books is it's called Black Rednecks and White Liberals.
really?
Yeah.
That sounds very interesting.
It is. It's like as a half black person having black family member,
Yeah.
like reading that book, just like oh my God, that yes. Like a lot of the black culture that we see today, black American culture, comes from the Scots Irish.
Really?
Yeah.
Scotch Irish.
Yeah. They came over here for a better life. They didn't have the money, the means. So what were they? They were the middlemen. They were the managers between the plantation owners and the slaves.
Ah, yeah.
So
I can almost see that. Well, I'm getting a visual of previous movies I've seen. Go ahead.
So I mean, the slaves would see their first interaction with someone who's free is that guy, and they see how they acted, they see what they did, and it kind of absorbed into their culture. Because black Americans at that time, well, black slaves at that time were an amalgam of a bunch of different ethnic groups from Western and Central Africa.
Right, right,
So they had lost their culture.
Right.
They crafted a new culture here in America.
right.
They took a lot from the Scotch Irish and the Irish.
Right. Do you believe that slavery even goes beyond? Well, I think I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Goes beyond or even previous to the 1700s
Yes.
in America.
What do you mean? In America?
I mean, before that. I mean, it's in other words.
Before they discovered the New World, right? Before when Native Americans were here, Native Americans, they enslaved each other all the time.
Ah.
The Cherokee, was it? The comedian Shane Gillis, he's hilarious, but he's also a history guy. And he goes deep dives into certain history subjects, and I think it was the Comanche. The Comanche, that tribe, they were picked on by a lot of the other tribes.
Yeah.
And then when the Spanish came and gave them horses, the Comanche just had that innate ability to ride and
Right.
do the stuff with horses, and then they had the ability to go and run havoc on all the other
So even then,
tribes. Yeah.
Native Americans back then that we would, the indigenous peoples of America were enslaving one another. But I think it's beyond that, though. I think it goes back to
It does. Just think about
all over
the Bible. Hebrews, they were
There you go.
slaves in Egypt, right?
Right. Yeah, that's where I was going. It goes beyond that. When you talked about the Irish, what did you call them? The Irish,
Scots Irish.
Scotch Irish coming over. Heck, they were enslaved in a sense.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what's funny? I think I don't know how true this is, but I just heard this today. Slavery in America, like I guess like everyone always talks about the indentured servitude that the Europeans did when they came over because they had to pay for the trip over.
Right.
So they'd be slaves,
Right.
Well, apparently there was someone was saying that they had that same idea for the Africans that came over, but then there was a guy who had an indentured servant, and he argued to the courts that no, he's my slave forever, and that's what started the chattel slavery, where it's like, oh, you had a kid, that kid's not my slave. Like,
Yeah, man.
I mean, slavery was a world phenomenon.
Yeah.
Everyone gives or Americans give ourselves crap for having slavery, but we helped stomp it out. I mean, the British Empire, they had colonies all over the world,
Right.
and in all their colonies,
Had slaves.
they had
They enslaved
the native cultures had slavery in themselves,
I see. Okay.
and they stopped them from doing it
Right.
all over the world. The only part of the world that they didn't stop was the Islamic slave trade.
Really?
Yeah, everyone talks about the Western transatlantic slave trade, but they don't talk about the Eastern Saharan slave trade. So slaves went both ways from the west coast of Africa and Central Africa, and even a little bit of Southern Africa. So the Islamic slave trade would take slaves, and they had smaller boats, so they'd get closer to the coast. So the big British ships couldn't get to them,
You're right.
and if they did get to them, they would scuttle the ship. No slaves, there's no bodies.
Wow.
Kind of like if there's no body, there's no murder. no
Right.
crime.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the slaves that they would march across the Sahara Desert into the different caliphates and stuff in the Muslim world. They would get the highest prices they would get was for eunuchs,
Yeah. Oh. Wow.
so they could
Yeah.
guard their harems, right?
Right.
So
Wow.
as soon as they'd get them,
Makes sense.
they'd chop them off
Oh.
and then march them, and it was like a 90 to 95% attrition rate,
Wow.
or they would just die.
Wow. Yeah. So the strong survive.
Yeah. So I am so glad my ancestors
Uh-huh.
went across the Atlantic, because if they would have went across the Sahara, I probably wouldn't be alive. That's why the Americas has a huge African population. There's not an African population in the Middle East.
Wait.
There's
Wow.
not an African,
I think you're blowing people away now with that.
there's not a population that can there isn't one, because all the males, or practically all the males were
No, you're
made eunuchs,
right.
so they couldn't reproduce.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. That's interesting. Well, you have been with us, Eric and Dan. You're with past, present, and perspective with Dan and Derek and Josh. Anyway, if you like us, please subscribe to us, and we hope to see you next week.
Thank you.